Here are the final thoughts for the Week 12 NFL picks against the spread. If you listen to the previous video or some of our live streams, I'm going to have some different opinions here just based on injury reports or some things I just reconsidered. So before I get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit walterfootball.com for tons of content. We have NFL picks against the spread, 2026 and 2027 NFL mock drafts. We grade every signing, we grade every trade. We have other stuff like power rankings and fantasy rankings, whatnot, and it's all free. So check out walterfootball.com. All right, first game is a game that we still don't have all the clarity here. The Steelers at the Bears. Bears are -2.5. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. The Bears, we do know that they have a ton of injuries. Jalen Johnson, the top corner, had a chance to come back this week. He's not coming back. They just put their one of their top linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds, on injured reserve. Their other top linebacker, TJ Edwards, is also out. They're also missing some other defensive players. This Bears defense is already bad, and they're going to be missing a ton of personnel here. So if this is Mason Rudolph and not Aaron Rodgers, I would like the Steelers. I'll probably bet on them. If it's Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I'm going to make a play on this game unless we hear something like Rodgers is 100%. Even then, like, you can't even trust it. Just because I don't want to back an injured quarterback. It's like one of the worst things you could do, especially a 41-year-old injured quarterback. Like that's going to be bad enough. Like Rodgers is just going to dink and dunk and try to release the ball quickly, which is what he's done all year, but now to a greater magnitude because he's banged up. So yeah, we'll see what happens before kickoff. Check back on the website around 11:30 a.m. Actually, probably like 11:40 a.m. For my final selection here. I'll definitely have something, an update of sorts, then in my final thoughts there. All right, Jets at the Ravens. So when I did my Thursday video, or was Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I said there were a lot of injury concerns with the Ravens, like Kyle Hamilton missed practice on Wednesday, Roquan Smith missed practice Wednesday, Ronnie Stanley missed practice Wednesday. Well, none of them have injury designations. It's okay. It's all fine. The only player in the Ravens we have to worry about is Lamar Jackson. He also doesn't have an injury designation, but last week he was DMP, then full, but he only ran twice against the Browns. I'm just convinced that he's not 100% healthy. And again, I don't want to back an injured quarterback here, especially at a 13.5-point line. We saw last week Lamar just didn't have the juice to get the cover. Now, granted, the Browns scored on a special teams twice. They got a pick six, which ran the pick six off Keaton Mitchell's hands. So they were lucky to cover. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens just didn't have enough offense to do it. And with Tyrod Taylor, the Jets could be live for a backdoor cover. So again, this is not a game I'd be interested in. If we heard from a reliable source that Lamar Jackson is going to be 100%, then I would bet the Ravens. But I just don't know how we're going to hear something like that. It's just like a wait and see. If you want to, you could just live bet this one. If you're watching this game and you see Lamar on the first drive break for like a 10 or 12-yard scramble and look fine, then I think we can definitely live bet the Ravens. But pregame is just too hard to do right now. Giants at the Lions. This line is up to 13. When I spoke to you on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, this is only 10. Now, what happened was Jameis Winston was announced as the starter, not Jackson Dart. And we have a backup quarterback here against one of the top defenses in the NFL. The Lions are number 2. So this is already a tough matchup. The Giants don't have many weapons to work with. Darius Slayton is coming back, but he may not be 100%. I don't think he was full in practice from what I saw. And then we have the Lions coming off a loss. They're going to be fighting hard here. Dan Campbell off a loss. Since his second season is 14-4 against the spread. And we know the Lions want to run the ball. That's their bread and butter. The Giants can't stop the run at all. They're the second worst run defense in the NFL. So it seems like a very easy win for the Lions. I consider the alt line a -20.5, but it's only the juice is like only plus 255 or something, or it might be even less than that. So I'm not sure if I'll go there, but yeah, I definitely like the Lions a lot. I also like the Patriots. We got news today on Cincinnati's quarterback situation. Joe Burrow will not play in this game. It sounds like the Bengals are trying to get him back for Thursday night. So it's going to be Joe Flacco again. And the last time we saw Flacco, he looked so decrepit. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. He was limited on Wednesday and Thursday, so I'm not convinced that he's 100%. Now, maybe he is, but even if he is, you won't have Jamar Chase. And the only thing Flacco has done since he came back to be a starter again, which he was to start the year, but still, the only thing he's done in Cincinnati was just target Jamar Chase like over and over again, just peppered Jamar Chase with targets. Jamar Chase is not playing this game because he is suspended for one game for spitting on a Pittsburgh player. And so it's going to be T. Higgins and a bunch of nobodies. Mitchell Tinsley is going to start for Jamar Chase. I actually like Tinsley in DFS. He's only 3K, and he allows you to get to so many things. But I just can't back the Bengals here, especially with no Trey Hendrickson. Mentioned Peppers. Hendrickson is like Peppers for this defense. He is by far their best player. And this, again, it's like Chicago. This defense already sucks. And when you take Hendrickson away, they're like a whole world worse. And we have Drake May just been on fire. I feel like the Patriots will win this one easily. Another potential blowout, Seahawks over the Titans. Now, this line is dropping a little bit. I wonder if it's because of some Seattle injuries. We don't know if Ray Zabel is going to play yet. We don't know if Ernest Jones is going to play yet. Seattle, if they're missing Jones, they're going to be down the top two linebackers, which would be a concern. But Tennessee is just so terrible. Tennessee 6-24 against the spread since week 1 of last year. I don't know why things would change suddenly against one of the better teams in the NFL. Seattle's coming off a loss, so they're going to be motivated. But look, there is sharp money coming on Tennessee, so maybe they know something we don't. Maybe with the injuries, but I'm not too concerned. Feel like Seattle should just rebound rather well here. And just remember, this matchup is just insane for Seattle. Cam Ward holds the ball longer than any other quarterback in the NFL, not named Shedeur Sanders. And Seattle has more pressures per game than any team in the NFL. They don't have the most pressures because Denver does, and Denver's played one more game. But they have more pressures per game, and unless something crazy happens, they're going to pass Denver in total pressures for the season. Vikings and the Packers. I like the Vikings here, and looks like the Sharps do as well because this line is dropping to 6 in some places. It's still 6.5 in a lot. So if you like the Vikings, I'll lock this in. It's tough. I understand it's tough to back the Vikings given how bad J.J. McCarthy has been, but Jordan Love has been bad too against the Vikings. 2 games last year, he really struggled. One result doesn't really tell the tale. He threw for 4 touchdowns, but he was down 28-0 in that game. It was the complete blowout. All of his touchdowns came in garbage time. In the second game, I think he was down like 17-3 or something. He just wasn't doing anything but throwing off his back foot against Brian Flores. He just looked confused. And this Packer team has just not lived up to expectations. They've failed to blow out most teams as big favorites. Like they allowed Arizona to hang around, for example. They allowed Cincinnati to hang around as another example. The Panthers beat them. This team has just been a colossal disappointment, and they play again on Thursday. They have to play Detroit on Thursday, so they could be looking ahead off a win. And if you think about it, and credit Andy Isco, who comes on our show Wednesday night for the live stream. If you just take out quarterback, like try to name a couple of spots on the roster where the Packers are better than the Vikings. So you could say Parsons over the edge rushers, although the Vikings have good edge rushers, but still, I'll give it to Parsons. Outside of that, like. And Josh Jacobs might not play, so running back would be moot. Where are the Packers better than the Vikings? I really don't see it. Just the Vikings seem like the better team overall. They have the worst record, but they played a lot of the season without some of their top players. They've been missing they're missing 3 linemen for a while. They were without their top player, Andrew Vinkicle, another top player, Blake Cashman. They didn't have Jonathan Grenard last week, but they're all healthy now. So I think the Vikings should be able to pull the upset, or at least hang around and lose by 3, or maybe like 1 or 2 points like last week. So yeah, I like the Vikings for a medium-sized play. Colts at the Chiefs. I would be on the Chiefs. I can't believe how many people are like, I can't believe the Colts are underdogs here. It's like, hey, did you not learn your lesson from that Lions game? It's the same thing. It's like a dome team going to Kansas City. Kansas City's coming off some losses. Kansas City is going to want to rebound. The Chiefs are just way too good to give up on. I feel like they're going to bounce back well here. I'm worried about the matchup against Jonathan Taylor. And also the Colts are going to get Travarius Ward back, which means they're going to have two really good cornerbacks. But if Patrick Mahomes scrambles, and he's only scrambled once in the past two games, each of the past two games, then I think that the Chiefs should be able to win by margin, and then everyone's going to be like, oh, I can't believe we wrote off the Chiefs. It's like the same thing every time. So yeah, let's go Chiefs here. -3.5. Jaguars at the Cardinals. I was really hoping for a +3 line to pop up because I like the Cardinals. I rate these teams evenly, and that may seem weird because the Jaguars are 6-4 and Arizona is 3-7. If you look at the EPA numbers, Arizona's 20th and Jacksonville's 21st in offense, so about even. Defensively, Arizona's 12th and Jacksonville's 21st. So offense and defense, Arizona's better. Granted, slightly just about the same in offense, but much better in defense. And the disparity between the records is because Arizona has lost 5 games this year in the final seconds, and Jacksonville's gotten lucky against bad teams. Like they beat the Raiders, for example. They beat the Niners when Purdy was not healthy, like he was limping around and throwing off his back foot. Jacksonville's had so many bogus wins this year. I feel like this team is just bound to regress, and I think Arizona could progress to the mean, the other way. So I like Arizona here. I made this line -1.5. So when this was 3, it's a 4.5 point difference. So I can't pass that up. And we have the game of the year here, Browns at the Raiders. This is gonna be a fun one. We're actually betting some defensive touchdowns on the site. I posted it on walterfootball.com. So check out. We actually have a two-leg same game parlay for this game that pays out 111-1. So definitely check that out. It's gonna be fun to root that on. If I had to pick a side here, I initially had the Raiders when they were 3. Now that they're +4 or they're -4, I think I'm going to be on the Browns. If you could consider the best unit in this game, it's between Browns offense, defense, Raiders offense, defense. It's not even close. It's the Browns defense. The number 2 unit, despite Shedeur Sanders, might be the Browns because they have a better offensive line than the Raiders, much better. The Raiders can't block at all, and they've Quinton Judkins. Now, Genty is on the Raiders, but Genty has no blocking. Judkins has blocking. It's not amazing, but he has some blocking, and he'll be going against a Raider team that is just awful defensively outside of Max Crosby. Now, if Shedeur is in a position where he's to throw, like if the Raiders get a random touchdown early, like on a fumble return, a kickoff return, and Shedeur is behind and they're going to ask him to throw, it could be a complete disaster. But if it's an even game, like an evenly script game, then I think the Browns have the advantage here and we get the points. So I'm definitely not betting this one outside of the props and the singing parlay that we posted on the site. But good luck if you do. I can't really figure this one out. Falcons at the Saints. I like the Saints. We have the Falcons just starting Kirk Cousins, who has been awful since the second half of last year. He hasn't played much this year, granted, but in the brief action we've seen from him, he's just been awful. Atlanta also won't have Drake London. They have some issues stopping the run, and the Saints like to run the ball, even though they usually don't run the ball that well. But they've had such a tough tough schedule this year. Alvin Kamara should have a nice game if he plays. He's questionable, but he's been questionable for a while, and he's always played. If not, then we might see Taysom Hill and the rookie Devin Neal have some nice performances as well. And the Saints, just consider the schedule they've had. They've faced so many difficult opponents this year. It's been insane. For example, they've taken on like the Bills, the Rams, the Seahawks, the 49ers when Nick Bosa was there, and he was only healthy for 2 games. That was one of the games. They played the Patriots, they played the Buccaneers. So many tough games, and they've only played 2 teams that I would consider below average or worse. It was the Giants and the Panthers, and they won both games by double digits. So this is looking good for the Saints here against Atlanta, just a decaying team. Raheem Morris, I don't know how he survives this. Atlanta traded a first-round pick from next year's draft to go all in, and Raheem Morris has ruined it with some non-performances, and also I assume he was involved in the decision not to take the bye after the Germany game, and the Falcons had severe jet lag after that 11-hour flight. So just a complete mismanagement by Raheem Morris, and just he's reinforced that while he's a very good defense coordinator, he just can't cut it as a head coach, and he needs to be fired. If the Falcons don't fire him, I'll have no words. I just don't understand how they're going to keep him or how to justify it. The Eagles and the Cowboys. This line has shrunk to 3. It was a 3.5. It looks like the Sharps like Dallas a lot. I agree. The Eagles won't have Lane Johnson. And if you look at the splits with not just Jalen Hurts, but also Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, whenever they've had Lane Johnson, they're one of the best offenses in the NFL. Whenever Lane Johnson's been out, it's been a below average offense. So I don't think the Eagles will be able to take care of or take advantage of Dallas's deficiencies on defense. And the deficiencies aren't as prevalent anymore because they have Quinn Williams and they have Logan Wilson. So they've improved since the trade deadline. We've seen them once this trade deadline, and they had a good performance, albeit against the Raiders. This is their biggest test here. But I think they can keep it close. And Dallas always plays well against the Eagles at home when Dak Prescott starts. Last year, the Eagles won in Dallas, but Prescott wasn't starting. That was Cooper Rush. Whenever it's Prescott in Dallas, Dallas usually takes a 7 out of the last eight matchups between these teams has gone to the host. So I like Dallas here. Buccaneers at the Rams. The Buccaneers had the flu this week. I did some digging on it. Apparently 15 Buccaneers had the flu. So while they may not have it anymore, they could still be just not 100%. Also, they're going to be missing the top corner, Jamel Dean, talented edge rusher Hassan Reddick. The running back is still out, Bucky Irving. That's not as big of a deal. So Tampa is not healthy. And the Rams are outside of Rob Havenstein. It's not ideal. He's going to miss this game, but still, I like the Rams here. I don't love it. I don't know. I have it for 2 units on the side. I may not bet it just because I really don't like the spot for the Rams. They're coming off a huge win against Seattle, and now they're a big favorite over a non-divisional team. But Tampa is a team they could see in the playoffs, so maybe there will be some sense of urgency. But it's a bad spot, so I'll say that. But at least the Rams will have circadian rhythms on their side. That basically means that they'll have the advantage over an East Coast team playing at night. East Coast teams at night are on the road, I should say, are on the West Coast are just severely outmatched. Just look at the history of it. I can tell you in this next game, which also involves circadian rhythms. The 49ers are 10-5 against the spread when favored on Monday Night Football against an East Coast team. This is dating back to 1989. And if you look at most of the West Coast teams, they have similar records against East Coast teams as favorites at home in night games. And it's easy to understand why, because once you get to the second half, it's 9:30 on the East Coast. These guys sometimes are preparing to go to bed. The Niners, it's 6:30 local time there, and they're in their prime. So they just have a big advantage. And the Niners have a big advantage anyway because they're much better than the Panthers. The Panthers, despite being 6-5, they have a negative 46-point differential, which is insane. I think I've never seen that before from a 6-5 team. I've seen -3 or -5 point differentials like Chicago. They're 7-3, and they have a negative the differential of 5 or 6 points. But the Panthers, their negative differential is -46. It's insane. Also, the Panthers may not have their linebackers. Their top 2 linebackers could be out. So the Niners are just going to take advantage of that. Kyle Shanahan is going to be able to do that. He always schemes well over the middle of the field, so he's going to be able to involve George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey against this team. And by the way, it's a McCaffrey revenge game for those of you who like those of you like trends and whatnot. It might be or narratives. It might be a big McCaffrey game, and the Niners know that, so maybe they're going to try to get him a huge game here. So yeah, I look at the Niners this week. So those are the WalterFootball.com final thoughts for the Week 12 NFL picks against the spread. So let me know what you think. Am I way off on some of these picks? Am I missing something? Please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, please hit like and subscribe and share this video, and visit WalterFootball.com for tons of content. And I will talk to you after the Week 12 NFL Sunday games with my instant reactions. And I'll have that video posted for you Monday morning. So I'll talk to you then.